players. So let's talk about the Supreme Court because today, as we all know, they heard arguments on presidential immunity. As we all know, Frumpy Dump is claiming that presidents should have full immunity from any type of prosecution, no matter what happens. They should not be held accountable for anything that they do if they are president. I don't think that people understand how serious this is. Democracy is definitely on the line because if Frumpy Dump has it his way, then he could basically, if he's reelected, he can get in office and do anything that he wants. And this will go for every president going forward. This isn't just for Frumpy Dump. So this is setting precedent here. So Frumpy Dump's Cracker Jack Box legal team is arguing for full presidential immunity. They basically state that anything that a president does, he should not be prosecuted for it if it is an official act. Now, if it is deemed not an official act, he would have to be impeached and convicted of it in order for him to be held accountable for that. There was a lot of pertinent questioning coming from Justice Ketanji Brown Jackson as well as Justice Sotomayor. And I can also say Amy Coney Barrett. She had some very important questions for Frumpy Dump's Cracker Jack Box legal team. Amy Coney Barrett wanted to know what is an official act? Like, what do you consider to be an official act? They were asked that several times, and Frumpy Dump's Cracker Jack Box legal team just continued to skirt around the issue. Judge Ketanji Brown Jackson, she said, what would be the purpose of Congress if a president has full immunity? And what was up with the pardon for the previous president? If he was considered immune based on the Constitution, then why would he need a pardon? Justice Thomas was there. He should not have been there because of his wife's involvement. Everybody knows that. In my opinion, his questioning was swayed more toward what was an official act and what's not an official act. Also, he did bring up President Obama and the drone thing that happened in Afghanistan. That was something that they did talk about. Again, Justice Sotomayor, I believe she hit back on that. I believe she was the one that said that, or maybe may have been Justice Kagan who said, well, that would be considered an official act because it was to protect democracy. I'm going to leave you guys with this clip from Judge Ketanji Brown Jackson. I think that this pretty much sums it up for the American people in regards to presidents having presidential immunity. She basically says that if this happens, anybody that sits in that chair could just completely have warfare on the streets and not be held accountable for it. How do we stop people from being emboldened in this office if they do not have any type of consequence? Now, before I play this video, I'm just going to let you know, we don't know how long it's going to take them to rule on this. It could come very quickly, and it could be all the way at the end of June or July before we know. But this is critical. It's important. And I implore you, if you have time, to go over to YouTube and listen to the arguments and see where you come out at. I'm really indifferent on the whole thing because there was questions coming on both sides, in my opinion, that are not aligning with what Frumpy Dump may want. But there's some questions that came in that isn't aligning with what the Justice Department may want. So listen to this clip and y'all leave your thoughts in the comments. This is Double D Mo for the Black News.
Sure. I'm not sure that's much of a backstop. And what I'm, I guess, more worried about, you seem to be worried about the president being chilled. I think that we would have a really significant opposite problem if the president wasn't chilled. If someone with those kinds of powers, the most powerful person in the world, with the greatest amount of authority, could go into office knowing that there would be no potential penalty for committing crimes. I'm trying to understand what the disincentive is from turning the Oval Office into, the seat of criminal activity in this country.